Hello. This topic is don't give up Christianity because of the people or because of church. Now, what are the many different reasons why people are no longer Christians or don't identify or moved away from Christianity as a whole? One is hypocritical Christians. Two, they've experienced some kind of trauma either within the church or just dealing with the people who proclaim themselves as Christians. And three, they've just never really encountered God's love. So, yes, they've seen, they've heard, they've been in the environment, but they've always felt uncomfortable or it never resonated with them. So, yes, these are all the ways that people just eventually go away from Christianity as a whole. Now let me read you scripture. Matthew 23 verses 27 to 28. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Now, you could just apply these with just normal people as well. People who seem like they are doing great. They go to church every Sunday, they read their Bible every day, they fast, they may do Lent, they took the Eucharist, whatever it is, they seem like they are the perfect Christians. And that is what they all appear like on the outside. But what you don't know is they're partying, they're dealing with drugs, they are living in like wicked ways, in sinful ways. And so, yes, even though they look to be the model Christian, they possess a form of wickedness. Matthew 7, verse 15. Watch out for the false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. So this goes for more of the church, more of the priests, the pastors, the whomever. They teach their own teachings. They don't teach Jesus' teaching, but they teach their own. My mother, when she was little, she went to this church. And if you would confess your sin, you'd have to sit at the very back of the church. And you would not be able to come up forward and actually worship. Or you would not be able to participate in anything. And, I mean, why? Where does it say that? It's these false prophets, it's these false teachings that there is wickedness in their church itself. And they eventually start teaching their own things as if they were true and as if they were God. So, yes, I can see both hypocrisy in Christians and the wrongdoings of the church. Now, what is the ideal church? What can be described like that? I think there's four. So there's love, unity in faith, mutual encouragement, and sharing one another's burdens. So let's read love. John 13:35. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. Simply says right there, straightforward, you are my disciple if you love one another. Unity in faith. Ephesians 4:3. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. So, just, you could just say everyone shares, everyone is true, and everyone is happy because they are in faith together. They are sharing the love together. I mean, that is so peaceful to have that. And that is what a church should do. Should make you feel comfortable to be close. Mutual encouragement. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Once again, just helping each other. Even if one does wrong, help each other through that. If somebody is struggling, help each other through that. Whatever it is to connect, it is to be with each other, to engage and encourage, and to just build each other up one by one. So, like I said, this is the ideal church. And the last one is sharing one another's burdens. So, Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So, like I said earlier, or right now, just when somebody is in need, when somebody is in distress, and they need somebody to lean on, you can be that person to lean on. You can be the person that can help someone and help somebody's life. You may have something that somebody else needs, and why wouldn't you give it to them if you can? Even if it's your time to give away. It doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be a kidney, it doesn't have to be anything. It just be simply your time, your listening, your anything. And the ideal church, I would say, is to basically be together, lift each other up, sharing each other's faith, I should say. And while growing, main thing, while growing with God. Yes, you can go to the church and help everyone. Yes, 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 yes. Main thing is coming together with God. So, and for the hypocrisy thing, everyone on earth is full of hypocrisy in one way or another. They are hypocritical in their ways. They may claim one thing and then they do another, or they're always preaching about something, but they themselves are doing something else. Everybody can be accused of that in certain ways. And for you to say, oh, I tried God and it never really worked out for me, or I was a Christian and it never really worked out with me. Now, answer me this: did you ever really try to pursue a relationship with Christ? Or did you just grow up as a little kid in the church, or just reading it but not really reading it, not really trying to understand or trying to feel? You never really seeked, is what I'm saying. So for you to be like, oh, well, I tried Christianity and it didn't work out for me. I tried to be with God and he rejected me, but you never even gave a real effort to get close to God. Hypocrisy. You're just like everyone else. You may live a self-centered or selfish life, and instead of a God-centered life. I mean, you gotta actually try God first before you can be like, okay, I don't agree with this. And you just, yeah. Let me read Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So do not be conformed to the patterns of the world. This is telling you to separate the world and separate God. You are here on this earth, and God is completely different than this earth. Yes, he created it, but the world is telling you to do one thing while God tells you to do another thing, and you have to seek God and see what it is. You can live in the world and not be a part of it, is what I'm trying to say. So, yes, even though believing in God and being a Christian has some certain restrictions that the world is always encouraging, you have to seek Him and see really the real relationship of it all. And how can you really come back? Let's say you actually wanted to come back to Christianity. You can come to Jesus with either a sincere, a curious, or even a closed heart. Of course, you can come with just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to reject Jesus, but I'm going to give it a try and I'm going to see if it actually works. You can come with a curious mind. Well, let's see if Jesus is actually the one. If I go to Christianity and I go to God, if that is actually the one true God. I'm curious on that, and you can start trying to build a relationship then. Or, and honestly, the most genuine and probably the most real one you find is going to Jesus with a sincere heart, being like, yes, I'm going to genuinely try because I want this. I want to genuinely try to have a real relationship with Jesus. I mean, you got to actually try before you can be like, nah, Christianity is just not for me. Tried it once, not going back. You got to genuinely give yourself and genuinely try to have a real relationship with Jesus before you can completely deny Him altogether. Even if it's simply just seeking the truth of life, the truth of it all, just seeking the truth, you can find it. So, I have this part completely written, so let me read this. One of the main ways to dive into a relationship with Jesus is through prayer. Yes, you can read the Bible and it describes His life and it describes the way of teaching, but to really come to God first, that would be to start praying. You need a relationship with Him. A relationship is what counts first. Because, I mean, the Bible may not appeal to you right now, but prayer will. So, build a relationship with Jesus first, with God first. Seek that first. And also because people read the Bible like it's a to-do list. They're like, okay, I read it this morning, ding. And that's not the way you should be reading the Bible. You shouldn't be reading it like worshiping it. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, this is something I have to do. No, you should read it with genuine intent and with seeking. So, of course, if you're not ready for that right now, the best thing you can do is through prayer. But if you would like to read the Bible, yes, I agree. Seek it. Pray even before you read the Bible. Everything goes with the basis of praying. Praying is very powerful. If you don't know how to pray, Jesus basically has a whole thing on how you can even start to pray. But it is in the Bible. Yeah, not even Christians don't have a bond with God. Even a lot of proclaimed Christians are like, I'm Christian and I'm real. I'm real with Him. Me and God, we're locked in. But even they don't have a real relationship. Yes, they may say, I believe, but then they go out and do other things. Or I believe, and then they read, but they're not really reading. They're just doing it so they could say I read, or they post on social media, hey, I went to Sunday church today, with their coffee or whatever, and then, or I'm Bible studying today. But it's the it's the things that people don't know, and it's genuinely building a real relationship with God, talking to God, seeking God, and believing, truly believing, and even changing your ways to God, towards God, and trying to be better for God, and trying to be your absolute best. And that is what I would more define as a Christian than to be like, I'm just a believer, and then not actually follow his ways. So I believe that is where real faith comes from, is through genuinely seeking and through actual prayer. So the beginning of wisdom is through God anyways. Is through the fear of God, fear of the Lord. And to fear the Lord is to be in awe and to love God. So bam! Don't give up Christianity because of its people, or because of the church, or even because of the Bible. If you were turned off from the Bible and you were like, ooh, it had some stories that I just don't resonate with. Which, yeah, I mean, it's totally true. Those two daughters that slept with their dad, oof. But you know what? It's not for everyone immediately. You have to be in the right mindset. That's why I said pray for the wisdom of it all, because prayer is the first thing you should start with. Genuinely seeking a real relationship. Don't ever say you tried when you never actually tried. Seek a real relationship first and just see how fast things can change. See how powerful everything is. How powerful God is. Love God, praise the Lord. Okay, this gone on for too long. Peace.